Welcome all once again on behalf of Panimula Institute of Technology AICT Pre-Rana GATE training program for EC and EEE in the subject signals and system. I welcome you all for this today's topic, the transform. As we discussed previous cases, most of all the transformations like Fourier and Laplace are all concerned about continuous transformation, and today we will discuss about Z transform, which is a discrete transformation. So, motivation behind the Z transform. It is another important mathematical tool in the study of signals and systems, and is known as Z transform. So, it is a very important phenomena in terms of analysis. We use a Z transform, and this is going to be the generalization of a Fourier transform. And due to its more general nature, the Z transform has number of advantages over Fourier transform. First, the Z transform representation exists for some sequences that do not have Fourier transform representation. So, we can handle a large class of sequences with respect to the Z transform. Second, since the Z transform is more general tool, it can provide additional insights beyond those facilitated by the Fourier transform. We saw earlier that with respect to complex exponentials of eigensequence of linear time invariant systems, similarly the same thing holds good here also. So whatever we discussed with respect to the Laplace transform and the Fourier transform, same thing is also existing with respect to the comparison between the Z transform and the Fourier transform. In particular, the linear time system transfer function h is impulse response of h, which is denoted by h of z power n of n is h of z into z power n, where h of z is equal to summation minus infinity to plus infinity h of n z power minus n. So, previously we referred the system function as h. As it turned out, h is z transform of small h. Since Z transform has already appeared in the earlier context of linear time systems, so it is very useful tool for signals and systems. And here also we do have two cases, bilateral and unilateral Z transform. As I said earlier, for the Laplace transform, the same thing holds good. Minus infinity to plus infinity is a two-sided sequence. We call it as bilateral transform. Where it is a one-sided transform, 0 to infinity, we call it as unilateral Z transform. Here, the bilateral Z transform of a sequence x is denoted as Zx or capital X is defined as x of z is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n z power minus n. An inverse Z transform of x is denoted by z inverse of x or small x is given by z inverse of xn, which is equal to xn 1 by 2 pi j integral x of z into z power n minus 1 dz. Most probably we will not use this formula to compute the inverse Z transform, where we go for partial fraction or another long division methods for computing the inverse Z transform. This Z transform and inverse Z transform both combinedly called as pairs. Z transform pairs. So I do give it as x of n zt. Z transform is x of z. X of z inverse Z transform is x of n. So this is very important to note down that the formula of Z transform is x of z is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n z power minus n. Similarly, moving on to the bilateral as well as unilateral, as I said earlier, bilateral is going to be the two-sided Z transform and unilateral is going to be one-sided Z transform. And most of the cases, as discussed, similar to the Laplace transform, where unilateral is going to be for the difference equation, linear difference equation with zero non-zero initial conditions. The same thing was we discussed for the Laplace transform as well. So as it turns out, the only difference between the definition of bilateral and unilateral is bilateral is going to be two-sided, where the limit is going to be from minus infinity to plus infinity, whereas unilateral it is going to be one-sided and the limit is going to be from 0 to infinity. So this is the major difference between bilateral and unilateral. So most of the attention we will be discussing with the bilateral Z transform with respect to the problems. So the relationship between the Z transform and the Fourier transform. Similar to that Laplace transform and Fourier transform, I am just recalling it. Laplace transform and Fourier transform, the relation is S is equal to j omega. As we discussed earlier, S is equal to j omega is the relationship between Laplace and Fourier transform. Now we will try to find the relationship between the Z transform and Fourier transform. Let x and xf denotes Z and dt Fourier transform of x respectively. Dt refers to the discrete time Fourier transform. The function x of z evaluated at z is equal to e power j omega, where omega is a real, yields xf of omega. That is, x of e power j omega is xf of omega. So instead what we can do here, we can have it as x of e power j omega as the Fourier transform of x, which is given by x of e power j omega. By this comparison, directly we can come to the conclusion z is equal to e power j omega. So the function x of z evaluated at an arbitrary complex value z is equal to r e power j omega, where r is equal to mod z and omega is equal to argument z, can also be expressed in terms of Fourier transform involving x. In particular, we have x of real part of e power j omega is equal to x dash of f of omega, where x dash f of omega is the discrete time Fourier transform of x dash of n. So in general, Z transform of x is the Fourier transform of an exponential weighted version of x. So again, the key impact factor here is going to be the region of convergence, which is similar to the Laplace transform. Here we will discuss the same with respect to the Z transform. Please do have a parallel thinking and parallel analyzing of the subject, whereas continuous time signals, it is going to relate with respect to Laplace transform, and here discrete time signals, we are going to use the Z transform. Region of convergence, the area under which the Z transform converges, we call it as region of convergence. So disk, there we was concerned about parallel, S is equal to j omega. Here Z is equal to e power j omega. There we add the strip parallel to the j omega axis. Here instead of that, we will have a disk with a center 0 and radius r is set of all complex numbers z satisfying mod z less than r, where r is a real constant and r is greater than 0. So I will have a radius greater than 0. This is called as disk. So this is the region where it is going to converge, real part, imaginary part. Annulus. An annulus with center 0, inner radius is r0 and outer radius is r1, and it is a set of all complex numbers satisfying r0 greater than or r0 less than mod z less than r1. So it is the intersectional value, where r0 and r1 are real constants, 0 less than r0 less than r1. Circle exterior. So this is similar to the right half of the rightmost plane and left half of the leftmost plane that we were discussing in the Laplace transform. The same thing holds good here also. So for right half of the rightmost pole, instead of saying like that, we will have the exterior of the outermost pole, exterior of the circle. So mod z greater than r, exterior of a circle. Similarly, we will have interior of the circle also, where it is mod z less than r. And we will also discuss the few cases for the intersection. Say example, I have a case mod z greater than 3 by 4. So it is going to be outside the unit circle. And next case, mod z less than 5 by 4. It is inside. So now we should find the intersections of the region of convergence. So where both are intersecting, that only we should consider as a ROC. It is greater than 3 by 4, whereas less than 5 by 4. So the ROC, final ROC is going to be 3 by 4 less than mod z less than 5 by 4 will be considered as the final ROC. So as we saw earlier, for a sequence of x, the complex specification of its Z transform x requires not only the algebraic expression but also the ROC associated with the x. So again the same thing what we discussed in the Laplace, I am recalling it again. Two very different sequences can have same algebraic expression of x, whereas their ROC will be different. So this is what we should be very careful, and we should be, while solving the problem, we should take into the account. And next, let me introduce you with the properties of region of convergence. So again, the same thing holds good for the Laplace transform also. I am recalling it once again. ROC should consist of a concentric circle centered at 0 in complex plane. If the sequence x has a rational Z transform, then ROC does not contain any pole, and the ROC is bounded by the pole or extends to infinity. If sequence x is a finite duration, then ROC is entire complex plane except 0 or infinity. If the sequence x is right-sided but not left-sided, and the circle mod z is equal to R0 is in the ROC, then all finite values of z for which mod z greater than R0 will also be in the region of convergence. So ROC is the exterior of a circle. Similarly, for the left-sided sequence, it will be interior of the circle. That's what we will be seeing. The sequence, two-sided sequence, it will be the intersection value we will be having. Next, the Z transform x is rational and x is right-sided, then the ROC will be outside the outermost pole. For the left-sided, it is inside the innermost pole. And ROC must always be in any one of the following: a disk centered at 0, possibly excluding the origin; at annulus centered at 0; the exterior of a circle centered at 0, possibly excluding infinity; the entire complex plane, possibly excluding 0 or infinity. So this is the properties of ROC. Please do remember, ROC matters when we solve Z transform. Next, let me introduce you with the properties of Z transform. As we seen the other case properties, here also we will have linearity property, translation, modulation, time reversal, upsampling, downsampling, conjugation, convolution, Z-domain differentiation, differencing, accumulation, initial value theorem, and final value theorem. So we will discuss one by one properties in the upcoming slides. So first, here I have given you the time domain of the signals, and for this particular time domain, what will be the Z domain value? Say for example, modulation property a power n x of n. For this, the Z transform is x of a inverse of a z. Similarly, x star of n conjugation property x star of z star. I have also given you with the region of convergence ROCs. Initial value theorem, x of 0 is equal to limit z tends to infinity x of z. Final value theorem, limit n tends to infinity x of n is equal to limit z tends to 1 z minus 1 into x of z. So similar to that, we will also discuss about few Z transform pairs. Please do remember these things in your mind. So any given problem, it will be easy for us to solve if you do remember all this Z transform pairs. Say anywhere whatever transform we do apply, the first case that we will take into consideration will be the impulse. Second, we will see what is for step. Then we will see for exponentials. Same, we will go with the same procedure. Yet del of an impulse signal Z transform is 1 and the ROC associated is all Z plane, entire Z plane. Next, U of n is Z divided by Z minus 1 mod Z greater than 1. Minus U of minus n minus 1 Z divided by Z minus 1 mod Z less than 1. N into U of n Z divided by Z minus 1 the whole square mod Z greater than 1. minus n u of minus n minus 1 z divided by z minus 1 the whole square mod z less than 1 a power n u of n, it is mod z greater than a, minus a power n u of minus n minus 1 z by z minus a mod z is less than mod a. So this is what I was talking about. Two different signals or two varying signals can have same transformation value, but the ROC may get differ. You can see in case of a power n u of n, z divided by z minus a, whereas minus a power n u of minus n minus 1 again z divided by z minus a, whereas for the first case it is mod z greater than a, and for the second case it is mod z less than mod a. Similarly, we can see for cos n omega naught u of n and sin n omega naught u of n. These are all some standard pairs that you should remember, because while solving gate problems, how much fast you solve is matter. So try to remember all these things. Next we will see properties one by one. If linearity property, if x1 of n z transform is x1 of z with ROC R1 and x2 of n z transform is x2 of z with ROC R2, then a1 x1 of n plus a2 x2 of n z transform is a1 x1 of z plus a2 x2 of z with ROC containing R1 intersection with R2, where a1 and a2 are arbitrary constants. And this is known as linearity property. We can also solve this problem similar to that which we solved for the first case. Same thing, first you try to consider the formula of the transform, which is given by x of z is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. Summation n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n. Instead of x of n, I take this value into z power minus n. Since the summation is going to be independent of this, so I can have two summation, that is minus infinity to plus infinity. First term, I take a1 constant outside, I will have a1 x1 of n z power minus n. Similarly, plus a2 constant, I am taking it outside, summation x2 of n z power minus n. So when we compare this, it is x of n z power minus n. So I will have it as a1 x1 of z, a1 x1 of z plus second a2 x2 of z. So this is the case. So this is how we have to prove the linearity property. a1 x1 of z plus a2 x2 of z. And the next property is translation or time shifting property. Again we can I will try to prove this also and show you. Again, formula for transformation is given by x of z is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity. Sorry for this, due to some MS Teams Microsoft Teams problem or PowerPoint presentation problem, I am not able to write it properly. Minus infinity to plus infinity x of n z power minus n. Now what is asked here? X of n minus n naught. I am going to substitute here. When I substitute here, what I will have? X of n minus n naught into z power minus n. Let us assume some dummy parameters. M is equal to n minus n naught. So what happens? My n will be m plus n naught. M plus n naught. Just try to substitute the values. Upper limit minus infinity, lower limit plus infinity. When I put minus infinity here, again I will get minus infinity. You put upper limit plus infinity, I will get plus infinity. So limit there is no change. So I will have minus infinity to plus infinity x of m. Instead of n minus n naught, it is m. Z minus, instead of n, it is going to be m plus n naught. Split this. When you split it, what happens? X of m z power minus m into z power minus n naught. So this term is x of z into z power minus n naught. So this will be the answer. Similarly, we can try to solve for all the other cases also. Next, z domain scaling. If x of n z transform is x of z with ROC R, then a power n x of n z transform is x of z by a. X of z by a. Similarly, time reversal. If x of n z transform is x of z, then x of minus n z transform is x of 1 by z with ROC 1 divided by R. And this is known as time reversal property. Conjugation property. If x of n z transform is x of z, then x star of n z transform is x star of z star. X star of z star. Convolution property. Time domain convolution, frequency domains multiplication. Same concept holds good here also. x1 of n convoluted with x2 of t. I apply z transform. I get x1 of z into x2 of z multiplication. The ROC always contains the intersection but can be larger than the intersection if poles and zeros get cancelled. And convolution in time domain becomes multiplication in the z domain. This is for all the transformation, very important. Make a note it and keep. Next, z domain differentiation. If x of n z transform is x of z, then ROC with ROC R, then n into x of n z transform is minus z into d by dz of x of z with ROC R. Differencing property. If x of n z transform is x of z, then ROC with ROC R, then x of n minus x of n minus 1 z transform is 1 minus z inverse into x of z. 1 minus z inverse into x of z for ROC containing R intersection mod z greater than 0. Accumulation. If x of n z transform is x of z with ROC R, then summation k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of k. The z transform is going to be z divided by z minus 1 into x of z for ROC containing R intersection mod z greater than 1. Initial value theorem. X of 0 limit z tends to infinity x of z. Final value theorem. Limit n tends to infinity x of n is equal to limit z tends to 1 z minus 1 into x of z. Z minus 1 into x of z. Finding the inverse z transform. So again the formula for inverse z transform is x of n is equal to 1 by 2 pi j integral x of z into z power n minus 1 dz. Maximum we will not go by this way, where we go for finding the inverse z transform using partial fraction. Maximum we go for partial fraction, or we will be going for long division methods. There are complex conjugate methods. There are several methods by which we can find residue method. We will be finding the inverse transform. So these are all very important with respect to the cases that we should know. Next, system functions of a linear time invariant system. Let us consider an LTI system with input x and output y and impulse response h, and let x, y, h denotes the transform of x, y, h in small. We know that y of n is equal to x of n star h of n. Similarly, in z domain it is going to be y of z is equal to x of z into h of z. X of z into h of z. So the terminologies are very important. H of z is a system function or a transfer function. X of z is the input subdomain. Y of z is the output. So representation block diagram. X is the input, H is the transfer function, Y is the output function. Now systems interconnection. Interconnections of systems are very important. Systems connected in series H1, H2, we will get H1, H2. Systems connected in parallel H1, H2. H will be H1 plus H2. So this is very important. Here it is multiplication, here it is addition. causality. So these two properties that you remember, for sometimes we will have problems with respect to causality and stability. If LTI system is causal, and its impulse response is causal, and therefore it is right sided. So LTI system is causal if and only if ROC of the system in function includes infinity, which corresponds to the ROC being exterior of the circle including infinity, or the entire complex plane including infinity and possibly excluding 0. LTI system with a rational system function H is causal if and only if ROC is the exterior of a circle outside the outermost pole, and with h of z expressed as a ratio of polynomial in zth order, numerator polynomial does not exist. So always try to understand your numerator polynomial. If numerator polynomial is 2 and denominator polynomial is 3, it's fine. It should not exceed. That is the case that you should always remember before applying partial fraction. So this case we should always remember. Next, unilateral Z transform formula, instead of minus infinity to plus infinity, it is going to be 0 to infinity x of n z power minus n. So very simple, remember this alone. With a unilateral Z transform, the same inverse transform equation and as of bilateral, only invertible for causal sequence. So Z inverse of ZU x of n is given by x of n into u of n. X of n is n greater than or equal to 0, 0 otherwise. So this is regarding the unilateral transform. So we should know how to solve the problems if the gate questions are asked with respect to both bilateral or unilateral Z transform. So very simple fundamental concepts that we should always remember. Now we will discuss about the problems of Z transform which is asked in gate previously. So question number 1, the Z transform of x of z of a sequence x of n is given by x of z is equal to 0.5 divided by 1 minus 2 z inverse. It is given that region of convergence of x of z includes unit circle. The value of x of 0 is what? This is what is asked. From the given question we can easily find that x of z is given to us. ROC is going to include unit circle. They have also said region of convergence includes unit circle, and they have also given us to find x of 0. This is what from the question we can come to the conclusion. From x of z, first we have to find what is x of n. Then at n is equal to 0, we can find the value of x of 0. Simple, or another way you can go for initial value theorem. So what my initial value theorem says is x of 0 is equal to limit z tends to infinity, limit z tends to infinity in x of z. So I am going to use this concept for finding the value. So what is x of z given to me? X of z is 0.5 divided by 1 minus 2 z inverse. I am just substituting it here. When I do substitute it here, any of this term will go cancel. 0.5 divided by 1 is 0.5. So the answer for the above question is going to be 0.5 x of 0. If you consider without considering the signal in this manner, if we do it, we will obtain the answer to be 0.5. So this is how commonly students make mistakes. By looking into this, just as blindly applying initial value theorem, and if you do it, it is going to be wrong. So for this case, what we have to do is, you have to think the concept what is given here. X of z is given. When you take x of n What is x of n going to be? 0.5 divided by 1 minus 0.2 z inverse. So I can write it in terms, since ROC is including the unit circle, we will have it to be the left-handed sequence. It is going to be the left-handed sequence. So left-handed sequence, in general, it should be minus of 0.5. So I have got 0.5 outside. I can take a constant value. It is 2 here. So it is going to be 2 power minus n u of minus n minus 1, since it is a left-handed sequence. So when I put n is equal to 0, when I put n is equal to 0 here, I will be ending up with, since the signal is starting as u of minus n minus 1, I will end up here answer to be 0. So the answer for this given problem is 0. So you have to be very clear that since they have given the region of convergence, it is mandatory for us to inspect every case. You may lead to the misconception by just applying initial value theorem. This should be avoided. We'll move to the next question. The region of convergence x1 of n plus x2 of n is 1 by 3 less than mod z less than 2 by 3. Then region of convergence of x1 of n minus x2 of n includes what? So for this case, you should know one statement. Please try to note it down, this statement. The ROC of addition or subtraction of two functions x1 of n and x2 of n is R1 intersection R2. We have given ROC of addition of two functions, and we have been asked to find the ROC for the subtraction of two functions. From the above statement, ROC of addition or subtraction is going to be intersection of two functions. So for this case, ROC will remain same. By this statement, just remembering this statement, we can come to the conclusion that the region of convergence for addition of two signals and the subtraction of two signals are going to be same, which is going to be intersection, R1 intersection with R2. We will go to the next problem. The region of convergence of Z transform of a sequence 5 by 6 whole power n u of n minus 6 by 5 whole power n u of minus n minus 1 must be. So very simple problem to analyze. First, what you do is you try to find the regions of convergence here. When we find that, it is easy for us to find. So when I apply Z transform here, directly I can say that it is Z divided by Z minus 5 by 6, Z divided by Z minus 5 by 6 for mod Z greater than 5 by 6. So this is the first case. For the second case, again for this case it is going to be Z divided by Z minus 6 by 5, where here it is going to be mod Z less than 6 by 5. So you should know this all basic things. A power n u of n, Z by Z minus a, mod Z greater than a, minus a power n u of minus n minus 1, it is Z by Z minus a, mod Z less than a. So you should know all these fundamentals. So two cases are given to us. So by looking into that, we can check where 5 by 6 is going to be and where is 6 by 5. 6 by 5 somewhere around here you will have. This is 6 by 5 and this is 5 by 6. What is the thing that it is saying? So I have marked it as a poles. So you are having a circle. Actually you can go with the circle. Here it is mod is greater than 5 by 6. So it means it is going to be outside this. Less than 6 by 5, it is going to be inside this. So it is going to be the intersection point of 5 by 6 less than mod Z less than 6 by 5. So which option is having this? You can come to the conclusion. So answer is C. You remember the formulas, you remember the pairs, keyword pair, which I was talking very often I used to tell. Remember the pairs. It is easy for you to answer this kind of problems. Next problem. The Z transform of a system is H of Z is equal to Z divided by Z minus 0.2. If the ROC is mod Z less than 0.2, then impulse response of the system is what? Again the same concept, very simple. Two cases as I said earlier, z by z minus 0.2 you will have 0.2 whole power n u of n. This is one case. Whereas for this case it is mod z greater than 0.2. If ROC is mod z greater than 0.2, then this will be the answer. For the other case it is going to be minus of 0.2 whole power n u of minus n minus 1 for mod z less than 0.2. So which option is having that? The option is D. Because as I said earlier, z by z minus a inverse is a power n u of n, mod z greater than a. Whereas mod z less than a, it is minus a power n u of minus n minus 1. So remember this very carefully. Any given problem within a fraction of a second we can able to solve. Next we will solve the next problem. If the impulse response of the discrete time system is h of n is minus 5 power n u of minus n minus 1, then the function h of z is equal to, so they have given you the h of z and the system is stable, the system is unstable, system is stable, system is unstable. You have got two cases. Now very simple, for this case what I can do is, first you try to find what is h of z, minus a power n u of minus n minus 1. So for this case definitely it is going to be z divided by z minus 5. So this thing is known to us, z divided by z minus 5, mod z going to be less than 5. Mod z going to be less than 5. So from this what we can come to the conclusion, answer is not going to be this both. So you can eradicate this both. Now we are going to see only these two cases. For these two cases also I should check whether it is stable or astable. So when we will say it is stable, a system is said to be stable if and only if the region of convergence include unit circle. It should include the unit circle. Say this is my unit circle and this is 5. So definitely mod z less than 5 will include my region of convergence, unit circle 1. So the given system is stable. Given system is stable. Directly you can come to a conclusion. Very, very simple procedures. Just understand the logic. H of n is given to you minus a power n u of minus n minus 1. Z transform is z divided by z minus a, mod z less than a. Now to find the stability, please make a note of this and keep. Any function is said to be stable, it should satisfy Vibos stability criteria. Second point, h of z, your region of convergence should include the unit circle. It should include the unit circle. If these two cases are done, we can easily solve any kind of problem of this matter. We will go to the next problem. The region of convergence of Z transform of unit step function is, so they have given you unit step function. Unit step function is Z divided by Z minus 1. Z divided by Z minus 1 mod Z greater than 1. It is a very known fact. Just remember the slide that I have shown you, pairs x of n, x of z, ROC. Remember that. If you remember it very, very easily by looking into that inspection of question, you can answer it. You do not solve it and check it. So even though if you want, I can solve it and show you what is the formula for Z transform. Since they have asked this x of z, we have to find x of z is equal to summation minus infinity to plus infinity x of n z power minus n. This is the formula for Z transform. What is x of n? X of n is going to be step function. Step function is positive side, so I will have 0 to infinity and u of n values 1 for z power minus n. So what I do is I take z inverse whole power n. 0 to infinity, it is going to be 1 divided by 1 minus z inverse. So when this is possible, only when this is possible is mod z greater than 1, only at that case this is possible. So if I try to solve this, I will have z divided by z minus 1 for mod z greater than 1. Very simple. We will go to the next question. The Z transform of f of z of a function f n t is equal to a n power t. Then what is the Z transform they have asked? Again same concept, whatever we have seen there, we are going to see here. What is a power n? Z transform Z divided by Z minus a. Now what is given here? It is a n t they are asking. So what I do is I am rewriting this as a t whole power n. So what will be the answer for this? Z divided by Z minus a power t. Z divided by Z minus a power t. So which is the option having that Z divided by Z minus? So it is option A. Very simple problems, but only thing is we have to remember the formula a power n u of n z by z minus a mod z greater than a minus of a power n u of minus n minus 1 z by z minus a mod z less than a. Remember these two mantras. Easily we can solve this kind of problems. We'll move to the next problems. The Z transform of a signal is given by C of Z is equal to 1 Z inverse into 1 minus Z power minus 4 divided by 4 into 1 minus Z power inverse whole square. Final value is asked. So for final value theorem, we should know the formula. What is final value? It is f of infinity is asked to us. F of infinity is asked to us. What is that? It is limit z tends to 1. Z tends to 1. Z minus 1 into f of z. This is the formula. F of z. Instead of f of z, you have got here is c of z. So this is going to be c of infinity and this is going to be c of z. Now just I am going to rewrite it here. What I do is, since it is going to be in z minus 1 and here all is there in the negative power, what we can do is we can make this powers as positive powers. Then we will try to work it out. So what happens here? I am just rewriting that equation. Z minus 1 into Z inverse into 1 minus Z power minus 4 whole divided by 4 into 1 minus Z inverse whole square. Now what I want to do is I want to make everything in terms of positive power. So if I want to make this thing in the positive power, you take Z power minus 4 outside. So if I take Z power minus 4 outside, I will have Z minus 1 into Z inverse Z power minus 4 I have taken outside. So I will have here to be Z power plus 4 minus 1 whole divided by 4 is already outside. Here Z power minus 2. Since whole square is there, I am taking Z power minus 2 outside. So what I will have? I will be having Z minus 1 the whole square. Now here Z minus 1 is here Z minus 1 the whole square is there. This both can be cancelled out. Now try to substitute whichever possible terms to be cancelled, you can cancel it out and find what will be the remaining terms that is left out and try to solve it and check what will be the final answer. Can someone quickly solve it and say me the final answer? Just substitute Z is equal to 1. Just substitute and give me the answer. Even this can be rewritten as this is a square minus b square formula. So a square minus b square, what I can do is a plus b into a minus b. So I can even rewrite this as z square plus 1 into z square minus 1. You can rewrite it z square plus 1 into z square minus 1. So what I will have finally is z plus 1 into z square plus 1 I will be having. So when you substitute it, z is equal to 1. Finally, give me the answer what you will be getting. Post it in the chat box. Yes, the answer is 1. Very good. We'll go to the next problem. So this is one more question. If x of n is equal to 1 by 3 whole power mod n minus 1 by 2 whole power n u of n, then the region of convergence of z transform in the z plane is some tricky question. Here they have given modulus of n. So please try to look into this very deeply. What commonly people make mistake is they think this is 1 by 3 whole power n, minus 1 by 2 whole power n u of n. So if it is going to be 1 by 3 whole power n, directly we can answer z by z minus 1 by 3 mod z greater than 1 by 3. 1 by 2 whole power n, z by z minus 1 by 2 mod z greater than 1 by 2. Direct answers you can give. But here it is mod n. Since mod n is given, we have to take z transform and finally we have to come to a conclusion. So don't go blindly by looking into that as normal n. So what I do is I try to take a z transform of this thing. So before taking a z transform, let me rewrite this with respect to both modulus of n. I am rewriting it. So modulus of n in the sense I will have positive value as well as negative value. Two things also should be considered. So what I can do is I can rewrite it as 1 by 3 whole power n u of n. This is positive. Next, plus 1 by 3 whole power minus n, because here modulus will take two values, plus n and minus n. Here since summation, always remember this concept, summation is minus infinity to plus infinity. Idhula positive will be 0 to infinity, and whereas negative will be from minus 1 to it should be minus 1 here in the top and minus infinity. So minus infinity to minus 1. Upon minus 1 it is going to start. So here in this case I will have u of minus n minus 1. U of minus n minus 1. And the remaining last term is minus 1 by 2 whole power n u of n. So this thing you should remember. So I will explain it to you in a better way. So consider this. X of n is given 1 by 3 whole power mod n. 1 by 3 whole power mod n minus 1 by 2 whole power n into u of n. So I am rewriting this as 1 by 3 whole power n u of n plus 1 by 3 minus n u of minus n minus 1 minus 1 by 2 whole power n u of n. Now I am going to apply z transform. Z transform is x of z is equal to n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. A power n u of n, just I am substituting it. Similarly here. So for this I can directly give you. So it is going to be 1 by 3z whole power n 0 to infinity. For this again 1 by 3 whole power z m, whereas the limit is going to be 1 to infinity. For this case minus 0 to infinity 1 by 2z whole power n. So we have got three cases. Case number 1, case number 2 and case number 3. Now for the case number 1 to exist, so we should have 1 by 3z should be less than 1, or I can rewrite it as mod z less than greater than 1 by 3. This is well known fact. Here directly, instead of solving this, you can directly tell mod z greater than 1 by 3 is for this case. I can tell directly. Whereas for this case also you can tell mod z greater than mod z greater than 1 by 2. This also you can tell directly. But in the center case, you have to check. It is very simple. Again, u of minus n minus 1, u of minus n minus 1, it is going to be mod z less than. So it is 1 by 3. So I have got 3 ROCs. So 3 ROCs irukku. Then from this which you have to take, you should only decide now. So what are the points? 1 by 3, mod z greater than 1 by 3, mod z less than 1 by 3 is 1, it should be 1 divided by 1 by 3. So in fact it should be mod z less than 3. I will be having mod z greater than 1 by 2. So from this I can conclude that, so 1 by 2, 0.5, 1 by 3, 0.33, and I will have 3 somewhere around here. Correct? So this is how it will be. Mod z greater than 1 by 3. Mod z greater than 1 by 3. Mod z greater than 1 by 2. mod z less than 3. So you have to fix the region of convergence in such a way that there should not be overlapping. So the ROC is 1 by 2 less than mod z less than 3. I'll go to the next question. Given x of z is equal to z by z minus a the whole square, mod z greater than a, the residue of x of z into z power n minus 1 at z is equal to a for n greater than or equal to 0 will be what? This is what they have asked. So again, very simple. We can go for the residue method of finding this. The residue method, if you remember, I will let you know now. It is x of z into z power n minus 1 at where they are asking at z is equal to a. We have to find it. So the formula goes like this. It is d by dz. d by dz. The given term I will always have it as z by z minus a the whole square multiplied with x of z into z power n minus 1 at z is equal to a. Now I am going to substitute this and check what answer I will be getting. What is x of z? The substitute it here. So it is d by dz. d by dz into z minus a the whole square into z divided by z minus a the whole square. X of z is given z power n minus 1. I will have it separately. Z power n minus 1 at z is equal to a. At z is equal to a. Now this both terms will get cancelled. I am going to put a over here in place wherever is required. Here I will have plus 1 minus 1. This both will get cancelled. I will have z power n. Differentiation of this I will be having n into z power n minus 1. I am going to substitute z is equal to a. So what will be the answer? It is a power n minus 1 n into a power n minus 1. So answer is option D. So very simple residue method. If you understand the basic principles of this, it is easy for you to solve. We'll go to the next question. X of z is equal to 1 minus 3 z inverse, y of z is equal to 1 plus 2 z power minus 2, or z transform of two signals x of n, y of n respectively. A linear time invariant system has the impulse response h of n defined by these two signals. H of n is equal to x of n minus 1 convoluted with y of n, where star denotes discrete time convolution. Then the output of the system for the input del of n minus 1 is what? Option A as z transform, z inverse into x of z, y of z. Option B equals del power n minus 2 minus 3 del of n minus 3 plus 2 del of n minus 4 minus 6 times del of n minus 5. Option C as z transform 1 minus 3 z inverse plus 2 z power minus 2 minus 6 z power minus 3. Option D does not satisfy any of the above. So for this kind of problems, first you try to write what is given to us. They have given us x of z is given to me, y of z is given to us. They have also given x of n, h of n is given. Now they are asking you if the output of the system for the input del of n minus 1. This is what they are asked. So from the given question, y of z direct kudutan, x of z is given. H of n is going to be convolution of x of n minus 1 and y of n. So what we can find is, first we will try to find what is h of z. So from the given question you find what is h of z. How to compute this h of z? Just apply z transform to this. When I apply z transform to this, it is going to be z inverse into x of z multiplied with y of z. So we know what is x of z from here, we know what is y of z from here. Just substitute it and we will get h of z to be z inverse into 1 minus 3 z inverse, 1 minus 3 z inverse into 1 plus 2 z power minus 2, 1 plus 2 z power minus 2. So this is done. Now what we have to do is, we are asked to find for u of n to be del of n minus 1, del of n minus 1. So I am just going to resubstitute here. What I will get here is u of z to be z power minus 1. So this function will be multiplied with z inverse. Try to multiply this function with z inverse, then find y of z. After finding y of z, we can find the inverse of that. I will get y of n. So quickly to summarize, h of n is equal to x of n minus 1 star y of n. H of z is given by z inverse x of z into y of z, where x of n minus 1 is z inverse of x of z. So we know that from the question, x of z is 1 minus 3 z inverse and y of z is 1 plus 2 z power minus 2. I am just substituting here z inverse into 1 minus 3 z inverse into 1 plus z power minus 2. So output of the system is going to be u of n, which is del of n minus 1. And u of n is z transform is u of z, which is z power minus 1, the transformation here. So this should be multiplied with my h of z. When I multiply it, I will have this. So I am just multiplying it. I will have z power minus 2 and entire term. Just expand it. You will have z power minus 2, 3 z power minus 3, 2 z power minus 4, 6 z power minus 5. So this is del of n minus 2, del of n minus 3, del of n minus 4, del of n minus 5. Front you will have the constant values. Very simple. Try to substitute this and you will get the answers. We will move to the next question. Two systems H1 of Z and H2 of Z are connected in cascade as shown below. The overall output Y of n is same as the input X of n with 1 unit delay. The transfer function of the second system H2 of Z is. So I have given with X of n, I have given with Y of n. Now both the systems are connected in cascade. That also I know. Now what they are asking, H1 of Z, H2 are connected in cascade. Overall output is Y of n, input is X of n, 1 unit delay. So there is only 1 unit delay. The transfer function of H2 of Z is what? That is what is asked to us. So what we can do, my Y of n is going to be 1 unit delay. That is X of n minus 1. This is given in the question. So it means my Y of Z will be Z inverse into X of Z. It is going to be Z inverse into X of Z. So by transfer function formula, H of Z is given by Y of Z by X of Z, Y of Z by X of Z, which is equal to Z inverse. I can conclude here. So this both when multiplied only I will get that H1 of Z into H2 of Z is Z inverse. So H1 of Z multiplied with H2 of Z is equal to Z inverse I should get. Just substitute the value, cross multiply it, whatever answer you are getting, that will be H2 of Z. I can even directly say this numerator, denominator goes to the numerator and this numerator comes to the denominator. So check which is the answer. 1 minus 0.5 Z inverse in the bottom, Z inverse multiplied with 1 minus 0.6 Z inverse. So option B is the answer. Consider the Z transform of X of Z. 5Z square plus 4Z inverse plus 3. The inverse Z transform is very simple. Directly you write it. Z square, it is positive. So del of n plus 2. Very simple. Second is Z inverse del of n minus 1. This is del of n. So which option is having that? Del of n is here. Del of n minus 1 is here. Del of n plus 2 is here. Again, is there any other option that is having? No option is having. So option A is the correct answer. Directly conclude. Next question. The transfer function of a discrete LTI system is given by h of z is equal to 2 minus 3 by 4 z inverse divided by 1 minus 3 by 4 z inverse plus 1 by 8 z power minus 2. Consider the following statement. The system is stable and causal for ROC mod z greater than 1 by 2. The system is stable but not causal for ROC mod z less than 1 by 4. The system is neither stable nor causal for ROC 1 by 4 less than mod z less than 1 by 2. Which one of the following is true? So for all these things, what you should come to into your mind is the statements that we have discussed previously. The system is said to be causal if ROC should include the unit circle. So we will also call it as stable. So that should keep in your mind. If system is not causal, ROC of h of z does not include unit circle, so it is not stable. So these two cases you should remember. If these two statements are remembered, quite easily we can solve this problem. So what is first one statement saying? The system is stable and causal for mod z greater than 1 by 2. Okay. Second statement, the system is stable but not causal for the ROC. So for this case, very simple. They have given you the ROC. So what you do is you apply partial fraction for this. After applying partial fraction, you will have the roots, then take inverse, and then with that you can come to the conclusion. So try to do it as a homework and submit it. The ROC of Z transform of the discrete time sequence x of n is equal to 1 by 3 whole power n u of n minus 1 by 2 whole power u of n minus n minus 1. Very simple, direct, as I said earlier. It is mod z greater than 1 by 3. This is mod z less than 1 by 2. Very simple, directly you should answer. 1 by 3 less than mod z less than 1 by 2. So you need not bother about that. By inspection you should give the answers. We'll go to the next question. A system with a transfer function h of z as impulse response h dot defined as h of 2 is equal to 1, h of 3 is equal to minus 1, and h of k is equal to 0 otherwise. Consider the following. H of z is a low pass filter, h of z is a FAR filter. So which one is true? So this we will discuss while discussing in the DSP class. As of now I am just leaving this. Same, this also we will discuss later. So this is regarding the problems with respect to Z transform, and these are all the references that I have taken. This is from the lecture slides, Michael D. Adams and Professor Paul Koof. Very useful information where I used their materials for taking this Z transform theory part, and this gave us the pure concepts of syllabus for learning what is signals and system. Oppenheim textbook is very useful, and few GATE problems were taken from Noida publications, MIT Open, Coursera, as Engineering Academy, made easy publication, and few lecture slides from JNT Kakinada, Dr. N. Balaji sir. So very useful. Thank you all. If you have any queries, you can just ping me through WhatsApp. Thank you all.